million, with more than 57,000 people dead. That's according to new data from Johns Hopkins University. Where's my stimulus check? The IRS is continuing to upgrade their payment tracker, as we hear from USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes in Washington.
The IRS website Get My Payment Tool is working. The website making some big changes over the weekend. The IRS not releasing specifics, but saying that it should now be easier to get the status of a stimulus payment and add direct deposit information if you have to.
The IRS also saying that if you successfully entered your bank information on any day until Tuesday at noon Eastern, your payment date will be available beginning the following Saturday. If you miss the Tuesday deadline, you'll have to wait another week to get a payment date. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMove.com.
Speaking at the White House, President Trump says progress is being made when it comes to fighting the coronavirus. USA Radio Network's Robin Walensky has more.
Thanks to our comprehensive strategy and extraordinary devotion to our citizens, we've had such tremendous support all over. We continue to see encouraging signs of progress.
President Trump holding a news conference outside in the Rose Garden, updating the country on the war on the coronavirus.
Cases in New York area, New Orleans, Detroit, Boston, and Houston are declining. Denver, Seattle, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Nashville, Indianapolis, and St. Louis are all stable and declining. All parts of the country are either in good shape, getting better, in all cases getting better, and we're seeing very little that we're going to look at as a superseding hotspot.
Navy Blue Angels and Air Force Thunderbirds are honoring first responders and healthcare workers with flyovers. The flyovers are taking place in New York City, Philadelphia, and 2 cities in New Jersey, Trenton and Newark. Air Force Brigadier General Robert Notvoy says the Thunderbirds and Blue Angels rarely fly together.
We try to spread them across the country in order to get to different parts of our great nation to show off the pride and precision. So to see them together like they are today over New York City and Trenton and Philadelphia is a real treat.
For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to this evening's episode of Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and we are a production of America Matters Media, the home of quality conversation. You can check us out on the web at americamatters.us. That's americamatters.us. We are also on Facebook at facebook.com/Reno Rush Hour. And we're also on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle, so you can follow me there, like me on Facebook, check us out on the YouTube. Rush Hour YouTube channel, America Matters Media, YouTube, multimedia broadcast sensations here. So just check us out. And we are an interactive program, so call in toll free from anywhere in the world, 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. You can also drop us a line in the Facebook comments Facebook Watch Party comments box, and text us 775-237-2266. The point is, just get involved. And I am here with the folks from Infinity Hospice Care today, and that's really important because care is needed right now. We have been in a situation together, big time, as we all know, and care is very important, whether it is self-care, which is something that a lot of people don't think about, which we'll circle back around with, but hospice care is what we really are going to talk about. And a lot of people have impressions of what they think hospice care is. I think a lot of people immediately think the path, cancer to death is a lot of what people think when you think hospice, and that's not what it is. It's a full spectrum of care, and we're going to talk about that. So we have Angie, Brandon, and Crystal. And Angie, how do you pronounce your last name?
Ruyak.
Ruyak. Angie Ruyak, Brandon Johnson, and Crystal Engel. And Angie, I'll let you tell us, first of all, what hospice really is. And can you do that for us?
Sure. So, Kelly, hospice is for patients that have a terminal diagnosis. And if their disease were to continue with the progression that it currently is, that they would have 6 months or less.
Okay.
So that's how we define who would be eligible for hospice. Hospice does require a physician's order. So they do need to see a physician, and the physician has to agree that they are terminal.
Okay. And so that can be any terminal illness.
Yes.
So
you mentioned cancer, of course, is the biggest one from the past, but patients that have any terminal diagnosis, COPD, CHF, liver disease, kidney disease, anything that they are not going to be able to cure.
Okay. And so when that becomes their diagnosis, and the family or individual who, team decides that hospice is indicated, and they engage with Infinity, what is the process? How does that work? What does it look like? What happens?
So the first thing that we do is go out to meet with the patient and the family and explain the hospice benefit. It is through your insurance, and the wonderful thing about hospice, it is 100% covered by your insurance. So we are able to explain the support and services that we would be providing for them, and then once we have met with their physician and we have that order from them that they are 6 months or less, then we are able to sign consents for them to go on to service with us.
Gotcha. And so when you do this, they, what is the continuum of care? What are the different services available?
Sure. So with hospice, one thing that a lot of people don't realize, it is definitely for the patient that is going through this terminal diagnosis, but it is also for the family that is many times caring for that patient and loved one. So we start off, hospice is has a care team, and that care team consists of the medical director, nurses, nurse practitioners, social workers, chaplains, certified nursing assistants, and volunteers. And all of those individuals make up the care team that will be working with this patient and the family through their disease.
And what's really the ultimate goal?
The goal is comfort and quality of life.
And that's what I was getting at. And because, I, as someone who has literally almost died 3 times in the last 4 years, I'm here to tell you, death ain't the worst thing that can happen to a person. But it's not something, it's something people fear because, it's the unknown.
Right.
And on the way down, on the way through this path, this body goes through all kinds of crap. There's pain involved. There are ugliness. There are things that it goes through. So having a team and having people who know this and know how to mitigate that is very important. And that's what hospice is, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
And Infinity knows that, don't they?
They do.
And that's what we're here to talk about. And I really appreciate you being here to talk about that. I am extraordinarily lucky. I come from an extraordinarily small family. My mother and I are literally the only two people left in our entire family. I'm an only child. She was an only child. My dad had one much older brother. I've never been through anything like this. My dad went he went real quick when he died. It was very fast, but his many years. But I've never been through a situation that required hospice, but I understand it, and I know many people who have. So this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thank you so much for being here. And Angie, Brandon, and Crystal will be speaking with you guys as well as admission counselors to understand what you guys do. We'll be right back with Infinity Hospice Care on Rush Hour. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the second segment of today's Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and my special guests today are Infinity Hospice Care with Angie Ruyak, Brandon Johnson, and Crystal Engel. And Angie's the director of sales. Brandon and Crystal are admission counselors. And what we're talking about is the spectrum of hospice care. And I'd like to first have you guys introduce yourselves. Tell me who you are, how you got to are you Reno natives, any of you?
Gardnerville, actually. So
right
not,
on.
Not too far.
All
Nevada
right.
native.
All right. And how about you guys?
No, I actually grew up in Southern California, transplanted to Reno in 2001.
All right. How about you?
And I am from Illinois.
Okay.
And I've been here about 15 years.
Okay. And so we'll start with you guys since your transplants. Why Reno? I always ask everybody that because I'm originally from suburban Philadelphia. Hold on a minute. I ate dinner before I got here. I got something to eat. I'm originally from suburban Philadelphia. And I originally first set foot here 30 years ago, knew I was home. Took me 20 years to finally get here permanently, but I made it. And so I'm always curious as to what initially made people land here. So what are your stories? We'll start with you, Angie.
So I was living in Chicago, and there was, it's a very fun city. And we just had a kind of a career change and decided that we had friends that lived in Incline Village, and we came out every summer to visit, and we were young and dumb and thought, let's move to Tahoe.
Oh, wow.
So we did, and it was a great move, but we didn't have jobs or anything like that, but we figured it out.
What a great, how awesome is that? Was you and your husband?
Yes, and so we were pretty adventurous at that time, pre-kids.
How old are you?
How old am I? 53.
52. I'm about to be 52 in May. Super. I love it. Absolutely love it. So how about you?
Yeah, so I actually was brought here by my family. So my grandma moved to the Portola, California area in 82. And just over the course of the years, all the family kind of started migrating this way. And as much as we love Portola, it was a little too small of a city for me to live in long term. And so Reno definitely made sense. I actually did graduate from UNR, and so I have a love for Reno, and this is definitely home.
Oh, that is awesome. And then, of course, Gardnerville. That's great.
Gardnerville's beautiful. Lake Tahoe, 4 seasons, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Love the outdoors. Love everything we have to offer here.
That's terrific. That is terrific. And then how did you get into this industry, and Angie?
So I've been in healthcare about 10 years, and I was working for Apria Healthcare, and our vice president moved over to a hospice company, and she basically just recruited me. So I've been doing hospice ever since.
Neat. You have this energy. You all do. You guys all have this energy that kind of radiates off of you that just says care and community, and you guys landed really in the right place. How about you? How did you get into?
Yeah, so I actually was a nursing major in college, and through the course of that decided nursing was probably not the best fit for me, but I did find a home in healthcare either way. After college, it's a tough job. I mean, hats off to them because it's a struggle that they deal with every day. But I did love healthcare, and so I took a job with Apria out of college, which is where Angie and I met many years ago. And so when I actually found a home also in the dialysis world for many years.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had a third baby, and I took a year off. And when it came time to get back in, I had been hearing so many fabulous things about the company that Angie was working with, being Infinity, and I lucked out. She happened to have an opening, and I jumped on it.
Well, and it's cool too. I love the lemniscate symbol. Is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And I love how you incorporate it into the heart here. And that's what this is called. The Infinity symbol is called the lemniscate. And it gives me chills. And how about you? How did you get into it?
So I worked for a senior community prior and spent every day with the senior population and adopted dozens and dozens of grandmothers over the years. Loved them. Was able to see how hospice could help my residents. And once I got tired of being tied down to a community and wanted to be out in the open, working with patients, working in the hospitals, Angie came along and recruited me.
Oh, super cool. So let's talk more about Infinity itself and a family of caring. I mean, just right on down to your tagline. It just resonates with me. It really, really does. And how long have you guys been in business? Has Infinity been in business?
So Kelly, Infinity started, our founder is Mary Bertram, and she was a hospice nurse in Chicago.
How about that?
Yes, she's a wonderful woman. And she decided to start her own hospice company, and she opened up first in Phoenix. and then they opened in Las Vegas, and then the Reno branch opened in 2011.
How about that? So it's just, and I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's a no-brainer. It's a no-lose proposition. It's recession-proof. There's always a need for it. I mean, you can't go wrong. Now let's talk about things like how it works in a situation like what we have today with a pandemic. Hospice is high touch. And now it's an essential business, so of course it's going to continue regardless of lockdown orders and things like that. But you're going to also have situations where there are people who, you know, have fear or, you know, have illnesses or cases where they can't, you know, have interaction, things like that. What do you do?
I think one of the biggest changes, and for our company especially, has been telehealth. And what's happened is HIPAA has kind of loosened up their restrictions and allowed us to see those patients virtually. So it's, you know, it's limiting their exposure. You know, it's our nurses are still able to have that face-to-face, basically. It's video conferencing.
How terrific. What a fabulous shift. And were you able, do you use Zoom? Or any, do you have a proprietary? Do you, like, what technology do you use? Is it the client's choice?
It can be as simple as FaceTime.
Oh,
you know, we use, there's some smartphone apps for people that don't have iPhones, you know, Android users. But it's great. They can incorporate long distance family members into the conversations. It's freeing up nurses' times, allowing them to see more patients in a day, and incredible feedback from both the patients, the families, and our nurses. Everybody seems to love it.
That is fantastic. And did that open up like a whole nother segment of business to you, or a whole nother sector of clients? Or I mean, how is this impacting your business maybe positively?
I think it's positive in the way that it gives people options.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those people that are really nervous to have, you know, people that they're not familiar with in their home, it's great to be able to offer that. And in ways, it's allowed us to continue our business. So, you know, as most of your listeners probably know, the skilled nursing facilities have gone on lockdown, procedures to protect their most vulnerable populations. And so, you know, our nurses were not able to do those visits in person. So it's allowed us to still maintain those relationships with those patients and those facilities that maybe we would not have been able to without telehealth. So it really, I think, is something that hopefully we can take on, you know, once life returns a little bit more to normal, we can still have this as an option. For the people that it makes the most sense with. So it's been great. And it's been a learning curve for everyone. We're making adjustments like everyone else out there. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, I think there have been some positives, and this is one of those positives, is having more options available to people.
And how are your clients doing? How are they adapting? How are you doing?
Well, I think one thing that's straining on hospice is our really big passion is that no patient dies alone.
Right.
And so, you know, in order to really continue those relationships with the patients, you know, during this time, you know, it's not just the nurse having the virtual visits, but it's our chaplain. It's our social worker.
Yeah. When we come back on the other half, we're about to go to a break in about a minute, but when we come back on the other half, I want to talk about the team, and that's going to be real important. And, excuse me, the who all, you know, I think that's the amazings, you know, including you guys and your staff and, you know, the team players and their staffs and then the clients, you know, because this is an amazing process all the way down. Because, like I said, you know, death is really nothing to be afraid of, because we are infinite beings when it all comes down to it. This thing is just a costume. It's just a meat suit. We can come back immediately, really, and do this again if we really wanted to. But, you know, when we're here is the important thing. And that's what's important to learn through hospice and through the process and teaching people that. And, you know, I think the more we can learn through that and bringing hospice to light to teach people that, and the hospice teams and the clients, I think if we could get messages out through the clients, hospice could be even more valuable.
Yes.
And, you know, we got to go to another break, but we'll come back on the other side and I'm going to talk some more about, you know, what hospice can really do. So we'll be back the second half of Rush Hour and this incredible team of people with Infinity Hospice Care after these messages. Stay tuned.
Destination Midtown. Experience the difference. Reno's premier shopping extravaganza. Everything imaginable and more. Midtown matters. Get down to Midtown.
Ponderosa Meats, the anchor of Midtown since 1954. USDA choice, USDA prime cut. Ponderosa grass-fed beef. Call 775-322-4063. Ponderosa Meats, tradition, quality, and prime service.
Midtown Reno. Experience the difference. Get down to Midtown. Midtown matters.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to the second half of today's Rush Hour. I'm Kelly Rush. And as I said at the top of the show, this is an interactive program, so we would love to have you join us. And this is a pretty serious, but not, even though it could be a heavy topic, it's not. It really isn't. And that's what we're here to talk about specifically on this side of the show, Infinity Hospice Care. And these incredible people that I have with me today are the front line of the business side of it, this is Angie Ruyak, Director of Sales, and Brandon Johnson and Crystal Engel, the Senior Admission Counselors. And then we're going to talk about the frontline team on the provider side, the nurses and the chaplains. And I want to hear that, like who all those folks are. And then I want to talk about the incredible team on the client side and really what all they bring to it, because, you know, I think a lot of people think of receivers of care as needy and, oh, bring me this and give me that. They play a role in this too. This is all about, you know, kind of how it all comes together. And I want to kind of talk about that. So tell me about, you know, how you guys interact with the providers, who all the providers are, and then let's talk about the clients and how this all comes together.
So we work with various medical professionals all over Reno, Sparks, Carson City, you know, rural areas, Gardnerville, Yerington. And so we work with physician offices of all varieties. We also work with all the assisted living facilities, skilled nursing facilities, local long-term care facilities, as well as our major hospitals. So we really touch every aspect of the medical field in one way or the other. And we're really out there to help support those physicians when it comes time that they realize that treatment is no longer the best option for those patients.
And now, are you like kind of and this is gonna sound like a weird term, like kind of like a clearinghouse? Like you guys are like a center, and you don't have, these people aren't like on a staff with you. Like, do you contract out to different ones, or like how does this work? Do they all work with like for Infinity Hospice Care or with Infinity Hospice Care?
It's the partnership.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
because it's all done through the patient's insurance.
Okay, that's what I thought. And okay, now that's clear. So then you have a client. You get the client. The need for whatever specific care is determined. You make the calls, you set it all up, and the team is in place. So then the care is scheduled, the client is seen, and things are happening. What happens next? How does it kind of flow? Tell me how that works.
I think as frontline workers, our job is to go out and meet with the patients, meet with the families, make sure that they have a safe environment for them to return home to. So connecting them with social workers, to help with resources, psychosocial needs, CNAs to help with ADLs, you know, the things they need help with on a daily basis. Nurses to come out and help with medication management, things like that. You know, a chaplain to help patient and their family members. So it's, so for us, it's to go out, get them set up, get them home safe, and just make sure that they're comfortable.
So you guys are essentially the logistical arm of compiling all of these different services together in order to give the best care to the patient possible.
Kind of the project managers.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And that's a great, I think, way to kind of explain hospice is we take over at that point, and we are going to provide every aspect of care that the patient along with their family need. So, you know, not only are we handling those medication and those pain control issues, but we're there to support, make sure there's advanced directives in place, and, you know, the spouses or family feel like they're being supported as well, that they can call us anytime with questions. They're not alone during this time, and I think that's really important for people because there's a lot of fear of the unknown, and we're there to support them through that, provide that education and that hands-on support so that they don't have to feel like, you know, a ship in the night. We are there.
Sure. And at a time like this, these are things, I mean, the detail, and you're emotionally, you know, you've got emotional things going on, you have, you know, mental things going on, you have physical things going on, plus you have your own life, your own job, your own family, your own potential health issues, your own, you know, stuff. And then your own side of your family too. This could be your spouse's whatever. So.
Well, and one thing, Kelly, that hospice really wants is they want that person to continue to be the daughter or the spouse.
And that too.
And that when they have hospice and they bring hospice into the picture, then it allows them, to spend the time that they need to with their loved one in the way that they should, and not have to be, the person trying to figure out, what all the needs are.
Sure. Or what if it's a contentious relationship too?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of potential situations that enter into this that people just need help.
Well, and during the break, Crystal started talking about, her father passing without hospice and how that could have been different.
Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So my father, unfortunately, was chronically ill for most of his life. He dealt with a lot of different comorbidities. And as things progressed and he started to go downhill, unfortunately, at the time, I didn't have a whole lot of experience with the hospice field. And I didn't know, I thought of it in a way that I think a lot of people unfortunately do, and that agreeing to hospice means I die tomorrow. And that's not what hospice is at all.
And
There's so much more.
I think that's a great point that you think of, that someone thinking to agree to hospice means that that's going to hasten things.
Yeah, no. And we don't change the disease process. We're just guiding you through it. And so for me, even at the time, I didn't know how different things could be, through his death. And unfortunately, it was sudden and more traumatic than I think it should have been, because we could have been prepared. We could have received that education from the nurses to prepare us really how the process was going to look. I was lucky enough to be there, but like I said, I think had I known, it definitely could have been different. And so that's a regret that I have, but it does give me a lot of pride in what we do now, because I understand the value of what we do and of bringing us in, timely, because unfortunately, sometimes people do wait too long to go on hospice. And what we want to tell people is, if you're in pain, if you need support and this is terminal, call us now. Let us help you through the process.
If anything, it may help extend.
Absolutely.
Because of the extra comfort, because of the extra support and help.
And being at home, being at home and in your
absolutely.
environment, has huge impacts on people's success.
Has anyone ever done a study on how many times someone has been told you have X amount of time and it's actually gone, how much time it's actually been longer? I would love to see
I
that
don't know
done.
about that. I do know statistically that if patients come on at the appropriate time of their disease process, that they do tend to live longer. And it makes sense, because the whole goal of hospice is to keep you out of the hospital, to provide all the care in your home. And usually patients are more compliant. When they have a nurse coming to visit them once or twice a week, they do better.
That's right. It's that observation. I mean, there's actually a term for that. I forget what it's, the Hawthorne effect it's called, where when you're being watched, you perform better, or So yeah, that's great. That's really cool. But what was I going to ask? Oh, what's your website? So people could the Infinity
InfinityHospiceCare.com.
Easy enough.
Yeah,
That makes sense. So yeah, for more information, I really want to encourage people to look you guys up. InfinityHospiceCare.com. InfinityHospiceCare.com. 775-852-6002. 775-852-6002 is the phone number, and you do have a Facebook page. It's Infinity Hospice Care. If you are in a situation where you have a terminal loved one, friend, family member, anyone that you care for, or a caregiver for, caretaker for, or are even in a situation where you think, you're chronically ill, or a family member who's chronically ill, where there may be a potential where this in the future may be a possibility. Look into it now, where just so you have the information, where it's something you are aware of, because prevention is worth ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And the more you know, the less you fear. And fear is the worst, is the thing that prevents more life than anything on earth. No question about it. And so I apologize that I'm not, looking at you. Right. And I please include, am I missing anything? Is there anything that we have another segment.
Kelly, I would just like to add in while you're talking about, when patients aren't sure if they're quite ready for hospice or not, we also have palliative care. So palliative care is for anyone that has needs chronic care management. So maybe they have cancer, maybe they have several comorbidities, and maybe they need symptom management, maybe they need help with pain management.
Sure.
But we can just really help them, kind of guide them on the decisions and the options that they have.
Absolutely. My dad was in that situation, and we'll talk about that in the next segment, but we will be right back for our fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour with Angie, Brandon, and Crystal of Infinity Hospice Care right after this. Please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Patterson. I'm the founder and owner of Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists. At Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists, we take a comprehensive approach to treating patients with chronic pain in the greater Reno-Tahoe area. We believe in the biopsychosocial model. This means we use multiple disciplines such as massage therapy, physical therapy, behavioral health, and medical treatments to treat your chronic pain. A plan of care is tailor-made for each individual patient. We always recommend conservative care first, but offer minimally invasive treatments when necessary. We are your one-stop shop. If it hurts, we can help. We pride ourselves in providing passionate care and making you feel welcome and understood. We are located in Reno and in Sparks, so give us a call to schedule a new patient consult at 284-8650. Again, that's 284-8650. Or visit our website at nvadvancedpain.com. We hope you choose Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists to be your center for injury rehabilitation. nvadvancedpain.com, 284-8650.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and I am talking about I'm not talking about, I'm talking to the incredible staff of Infinity Hospice Care, Director of Sales, Angie Ruyak, and Senior Admission Counselors, Brandon Johnson and Crystal Engel. And let's talk about these amazing community things you've been doing during this stuff that we've been dealing with. I don't even like to name it. I'm not even going there. I haven't watched, literally, I have not watched one news conference. I don't even watch TV, but I'm not even
Just
going
don't
there.
even name it.
No,
Yeah.
no. So tell me about this stuff. This is so cool. You guys are oh, my heart.
Yeah, so, when everything kind of started happening, our founder, who Angie had mentioned, Mary Bertram, she actually saw the need for a way to protect our patients and our staff first. And so she actually pulled out her sewing machine and started sewing fabric face masks. With that, she started sending the patterns.
I saw that. Mary Bertram.
Mary Bertram, yeah. Mary Bertram.
I saw a post about that early on. Oh, yay!
Yeah, she's fantastic. And like I said, it's just been a real grassroots effort. She started emailing the patterns to everyone, and we all kind of reached out to our community.
I think Sean Carey, my friend who owns Rounds Bakery, I think he shared a post about that or something, and I saw, cool.
Yeah. So, we all started reaching out to groups locally, and it started with our Infinity volunteer staff, who was fantastic. They all pulled out their sewing machines and started. We had a local Seroptimus group who has been making masks so quickly. We've had groups from Facebook. There's a COVID mask page that donated to us. There's a group in Del Webb Sewing. Even just individuals have been coming by our office as they found out what we're doing to drop these masks off. And we have been able to collect, wash, individually bag, and distribute over 2,000 fabric face masks within our community, again in the Reno and Carson City area. And those have gone to physician offices.
Yeah, for the medical
professionals,
they're necessary. Now, for the general public, not so much. But
but in these skilled nursing,
that's
and,
perfect.
Their populations are so at risk.
Yes.
Yeah, and so
that's where it is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, and a lot of the populations that we work with
and
are
even,
those high
just
risk.
regular, flu.
Absolutely,
and all that's the nursing homes and
the nursing homes, the skilled nursings, the assisted livings. We've been able to donate 100 masks to the VA hospital.
Yes.
It's really been amazing, and for us, it makes us feel good to be able to support those frontline workers. But what we hope too is that they are seeing this outpouring of love from their community, and that they understand that their community is behind them. They are supporting them, and they understand the commitment and really the sacrifice that they're making every day to be out there, during these challenging times. And so I hope that they see that. I hope that because these hundreds of volunteers have really come out of the woodwork to make this happen, that they feel that love and support behind them.
Yes.
Now I saw, in addition to the cloth face masks, you guys are also doing 3D printed face shields. Who's printing those? Who's providing those for you?
Yeah, so we actually partnered with a company called Griffin Co. Their founders, Katie and Andy Muth, just jumped right in, and they had a volunteer team of over 40 people who printed so many masks in such a short amount of time. The number is 6,000, which is staggering. In less than 3 weeks, they were able to 3D print that many masks. And again, they donated all of their time, and the volunteers donated all of their time. And just because, again, they want to help, they want to make sure that the people who need them have the supplies that they need. And so they've distributed those out to various locations. Our local Infinity branch has been able to distribute over 500 of those masks, actually over 560 of the face shields out, again, to those vulnerable populations, those at-risk facilities.
How do they work? Like, what do they look like? Are they?
Yeah, so it's just basically a headband that can be worn with a fabric shield over it.
Oh, gotcha. That's so cool.
So it's just another layer of protection for them. So, the fact that they've been able to step up and make that happen, fill that need in such a short amount of time is just amazing. And it's heartwarming, really, to see all the people during this time just come out of that woodwork to say, we have a need and we're going to fill that need.
And that's the cool thing, is the innovation, the people taking a situation that that's having an impact in whatever way, and shifting, and saying, okay, this is happening this way, and I can't do this, so I have to do something. So I'm going to do this, like with the telemedicine.
Yes.
You know, you have clients who still need comfort, who still need services, and you have employees who still need to work in an essential business, the tier 2 essential business. You've got government, you've got first responders and medical, you've got communications. We're actually tier 3. And technically, as AM radio, we could be pulled up to tier 1 if we have to. If they've got to break through, if the S really hits it, you know, AM radio is, oddly enough, we were created for this kind of thing. But you guys are number 2. So you got to shift.
Yes, yeah.
And ultimately, what's most inspiring is, you know, this could have been an opportunity to brand everything with Infinity Hospice Care and put your name on everything, but that's not the goal. You guys are just out there trying to do good and trying to help people out, regardless of if it's you, if it's your competition, and you know, just trying to make it the best in society that it possibly can be.
And that's so much of that has happened too, and that's the other thing I've loved about this. I mean, I've observed this. You know, I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I don't have a lot of the typical distractions that many people do. So I have really been able to kind of just sit back and watch a lot of this happen. And I've been waiting for this for many, many, many years. I've been, you know, been saying, you know, this. So how is this going? And it's been fascinating, and in a very positive way to me, because we, the people, have done a really good job.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of us, really.
I think it's easy to see the negative in the situation, but we've been in a really unique light to also be experiencing the positive.
And so much positive has happened.
Absolutely.
And I'm really hoping that we, you know, next week just slowly start to, you know, get back to life, because we can't keep doing this. This is, you know, it's not necessary to continue, you know, full on lockdown like this either. Yeah. But as far as, you know, getting back to Infinity Hospice Care, what are some more of the great things that you guys do from, okay, so the beginning is you get your patient, and that you organize the team and the initial services happen. What, you know, as things are, as they progress, how does it go? Because it, you know, as it goes, it's not, how do I say this? It's not a doom and gloom thing, is it? I mean, I've never been through it, but I can't imagine that it's this. Just tell me, how does it go? So
I mean, you know, we can see some very beautiful things at the end of life. You know, you meet with patients and families who've had some really open conversations about how they want to die and what they want that to look like. Yeah. And then you meet with other patients and families that haven't had those conversations.
How do you help okay, let's talk about that. How do you help the ones that are in fear, are closed, are, you know, that how do you help?
So that's where the social worker, the chaplain, the relationship with the nurse and the CNA, that all comes into play. And so, you know, all those disciplines together are working to help that patient and family, you know, go through their own
processes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Have you had any, like, real breakthrough? Do you have any stories like of ones that, you know, that were real kind of difficult, that just you were able to really
I think that because the nurses become so involved in the patient's life, it's really amazing. Sometimes we're able to spend some time and shadow our nurses and see, their relationships with those patients. And, what we see is our nurses become part of the family in a sense. They're greeting the dog at the front door when they walk in, and they know all the families that are in, all the family members that are in the room and how their day normally looks and what is the best approach. And so it's amazing to see the bond that can be created during such a hard time. From anything, like I said, just, walking in and saying, here, let me wash that dish for you really quick, because I see that you're not going to be able to get to that, all the way to the other spectrum of our social workers sitting and just letting someone cry for, an hour of their time or whatever it may be. And so we're able to, see it all, really. We've got this huge gallery of memories that have been created by our fantastic nursing team who's out there every day on the front lines doing what it takes to make sure that those people are cared for. And we get to do a lot of really unique things too. We're a company that honors veterans.
Yeah.
And so we just had one of our first... Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I've got 10
That's
seconds
okay,
left.
I
but
understand.
I want to do this again.
Yes.
Because you guys are amazing. And this is very critical. This is critical stuff. So Infinity Hospice Care, Angie, Brandon, Crystal, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
For bringing this to us. And folks in the listening audience, anybody who needs this, infinityhospicecare.com, infinityhospicecare.com. Please check it out. And we'll see you tomorrow on Rush Hour.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I